Rock Caitlin Clark PE sneakers. Now, these ones right here are nice. I can't even lie. Steph Curry gets ready for tip off and Caitlin Clark PE sneakers. Now, he did a lot. He pre-gamed in them and he was shooting half court short shots in them. But this right here lets you know how impactful the Caitlin Clark impact is, man. And these shoes are nice. I bet you Caitlin Clark picked out the colorway and everything. Bet money. Somebody said those MFers are icy. Steph warning Caitlin Clark shoes. It's the ultimate midlife crisis. Oh my God. Look, so many people are just.
Caitlin Clark recently gained significant attention across social media after Stephen Curry was seen wearing her custom Nike sneakers during a recent Warriors game. The incident has sparked widespread discussion about the rising star's influence in basketball. The Indiana Fever guard continues to dominate headlines as her signature footwear makes waves throughout the NBA. These particular shoes are player edition releases, specially designed versions not available to the general public. Some critics previously suggested that the sneakers only gained popularity due to their connection to Kobe Bryant's shoe line.
We're just haters, bro. Just freaking haters, bro. Caitlin Clark. It's not even funny. Steph Curry wearing the Caitlin Clark PEs. Oh my God. And he was also in the PE shoe. The great Steph Curry, man, rocking the Caitlin Clark PE Kobe 6's dog.
However, Clark's personal brand carries substantial influence on its own, and numerous NBA athletes have shown genuine support for the emerging talent. Stephen Curry became the most recent professional to sport Clark's Player Edition sneakers. The custom colorway featured an eye-catching design that many fans praised online. Before the Warriors game tipped off, Curry wore the shoes during his warm-up routine, practicing his trademark half-court shots while wearing Clark's signature kicks. This gesture demonstrates the remarkable reach and cultural impact that the young athlete has achieved in such a short time.
The great Steph Curry, man, rocking the Caitlin Clark PE Kobe 6's dog. Legendary moment. Now, that is pretty much the only other news that we got coming out about Caitlin Clark. Really haven't been a whole lot. We still got the WNBA negotiations been talked about, but we have to talk about this Lexi Brown interview that she did with Joy Taylor, speaking about the current state of the WNBA. Let's listen to this.
Have leaned in. It's still like they're right on the edge. It's still like they still. It feels like they still have these like claws in the old way of doing things. That is.
The shoes received enthusiastic responses from fans, with many commenting on the sleek appearance and unique color scheme that Clark likely helped select. Social media reactions varied widely, with supporters celebrating the crossover moment while others made dismissive comments. Some joked about the situation being a midlife crisis, though most responses were positive. The moment when Curry wore the Kobe 6 Player Editions designed for Clark has been described as legendary by many basketball enthusiasts. Beyond the sneaker news, attention has turned toward the ongoing WNBA collective bargaining agreement discussions.
Like they still have these like claws in the old way of doing things that is keeping the league from really taking off. And the CBA obviously is a part of this as well. And all leagues have CBA negotiations, and many times other leagues have had stoppages because of the CBA negotiations. So it's not like this is a unheard of.
Right.
But how do you and the players feel about where you guys are with it right now?
I think we're in a better spot than we were a few weeks ago, a few months ago, but we are still a very long way away from where.
While updates about Clark herself have been relatively quiet recently, the league-wide contract negotiations remain a hot topic throughout women's basketball. Lexi Brown recently sat down for an interview with Joey Taylor to address the current state of negotiations between players and the league. Brown discussed how the organization appears stuck between old methods and new possibilities, preventing the sport from reaching its full potential. The CBA talks are part of this challenge, though work stoppages during such negotiations aren't unusual across professional sports leagues. When asked about the players' perspective on negotiations, Brown explained that progress has been made compared to previous months, but significant gaps remain.
From where we want to be. I think the biggest thing is that revenue sharing, which now I feel like people are starting to finally understand what exactly that means. Is like we're not trying to get paid like the NBA guys. We're not trying to get paid $50 million a year. We're trying to get paid a bigger percentage of the money that we're generating. And they're just like, no, like we want you to stay right here where you've always been, and we want you to accept that. And we're just like, no, like, we're not going to do that. And if we are going to find a happy medium.
The central issue revolves around revenue distribution rather than demanding salaries comparable to NBA contracts. Players aren't seeking $50 million annual deals, but rather requesting a larger share of the revenue they help generate. League officials have reportedly resisted these demands, wanting to maintain the existing compensation structure. Players are requesting transparency regarding finances and ownership details, but Brown described the process as involving considerable avoidance of direct answers. Brown noted that player involvement in CBA meetings has increased substantially compared to the previous agreement.
No, like, we're not going to do that. And if we are going to find a happy medium, like, you guys, they have to tell us why. Like, why are you guys not doing this? Why are you not being transparent about the financials? Why are you not being transparent about the ownership groups? Like, it's just it's a lot of runaround. And I'm not in those big meetings, but I'm in like the group CBA meetings. And, you know, every meeting, there's more and more players coming on. And I was in the league for the last CBA, and it was not like this. I mean, that CBA was monumental for us at the time, but we knew that that's why you put an opt-out clause, because, you know.
While that earlier contract represented major progress at the time, it included an opt-out provision because players anticipated growth. However, the explosive expansion exceeded expectations, happening faster than anyone predicted. Players have maintained their responsibility to deliver quality performance for expanding audiences, and now other aspects of the league must match that elevated standard. Brown referenced commissioner statements about officiating improvements and other operational enhancements needed across the organization. The conversation also touched on public reactions whenever discussions arise about equal compensation for female athletes.
It's because, you know, you bet on yourselves, we're going to grow, but like, we weren't expecting like this much growth and as fast as it happened. And it's been amazing to be a part of it. But like, as players, we've had a responsibility to continue to put out a good product for all these new eyes. And now the league needs to step it up. Even in Fee's statement, she was talking about the officiating. That needs, like, everything needs to like rise to the occasion. I feel like we have been really the only things that have just rose with the moment, and now everything else has to follow, I feel like
every time over the year,
Brown and Taylor discussed how these topics consistently generate intense negative reactions online, particularly from individuals who aren't directly affected by player salaries. Despite not being finance professionals or business operators themselves, many social media users offer strong opinions about compensation structures. Taylor referenced the U.S. women's national soccer team's earlier fight for equal pay, suggesting that their 2019 World Cup victory marked a turning point for women's athletics overall. That moment helped initiate the current momentum in women's professional sports.
The moment, and now everything else has to follow, I feel like
every time over the years that any conversation has come up about women getting better or equal pay, like, nothing is like chum in the water on the internet to these motherfuckers, like
thing.
Women making money. Dog, you're not paying the WNBA players. You're not making one penny less in your life.
Right.
Every time
it's a dollar amount.
The negotiation status remains unchanged, meaning players could potentially call for a work stoppage at any point if discussions don't progress satisfactorily. Meanwhile, the unrivaled 3-on-3 basketball league has launched, though not all basketball content creators have engaged with covering the new format, as some prefer the traditional 5-on-5 game. Additional footage includes various game highlights showing Clark and other players making impressive plays, including three-pointers, drives to the basket, and defensive stops. Clark has expressed excitement about returning to action after sitting out, looking forward to competing with teammates again and bringing energy to the court. While uncertain about playing time, the focus remains on competing hard whenever on the floor and staying active within the team's constant movement system.
Is someone who's known for a range. Steph Curry was obviously known for his range as well. But you've now got Steph Curry shooting from the logo in Caitlin Clark's shoes. And that's like the first thing where it's like, yeah, you know, from the logo. I will say this, where it's like, it is mad that the logo 3 is now considered Caitlin range. Like, we obviously had Curry range. More so than anything, we had Jimmer range. If we're being real, more so than ever, we had Jimmer range with that. As much as the Steph Curry range was a big thing,
After weeks of watching from the sidelines, the anticipation for getting back into game action is clearly high. The potential partnership between Caitlin Clark and Stephen Curry represents what many consider an expected development in sports marketing. Clark, often mentioned alongside Curry due to their long-range shooting abilities, has drawn various comparisons throughout her career. Some analysts suggest her playing style bears closer resemblance to Tyrese Halliburton or even Magic Johnson with enhanced shooting capability rather than Curry himself. Despite debates about direct style comparisons, both athletes share recognition for their exceptional shooting range.
As much as the Steph Curry range was a big thing, Jimmer range was, for me, Jimmer range was the phenomenon. That was the absolute phenomenon, was Jimmer range. Because what Jimmer was doing was like, it's weird because everyone was talking about Jimmer being the next Steph, but like Steph wasn't Steph when Jimmer was Jimmer. Like I genuinely think there's an argument to be made that Jimmer Fredette was almost Steph before Steph, because Steph was still like when Jimmer was doing all his shit, Steph was a year 2 guy with bad ankles. Like,
recent social media activity showing Curry wearing Clark's signature sneakers while attempting logo three-pointers has sparked significant speculation. The evolution of basketball terminology now includes phrases like Caitlin range for deep shots, though historically terms like Curry range dominated discussions. Earlier in basketball history, Jimmer Fredette generated similar buzz with his remarkable shooting distance during his collegiate peak, predating Curry's dominance when Curry was still establishing himself as a second-year player dealing with ankle concerns. Social media indicators suggest collaboration planning may be underway. Clark shared content featuring Curry in her shoes, while Curry's personal trainer also promoted the same material.
Shit, Steph was a year 2 guy with bad ankles. Like, we can't forget that, like, he was literally a year 2 guy with bad ankles. That was what Steph Curry was at the time. Either way, though, I'm going off point. It's going to be very interesting because Caitlin Clark reposting, but also, do I have it here? Do I have it bookmarked? No. Do I have it bookmarked here? No. Oh my god. Someone deleted the tweet hyping up Luka Garza. Oh no, it's still there. Unless I got blocked.
Such coordinated activity rarely occurs without purpose, particularly given Clark's selective approach to basketball-related social media engagement outside teammate content. Timing considerations add intrigue to potential collaboration scenarios. With WNBA offseason approaching and NBA All-Star Weekend scheduled within weeks, various opportunities exist for joint appearances. Clark has consistently prioritized WNBA promotion in her career decisions, though circumstances might lead to NBA event participation. From a business perspective, the partnership dynamics involve complex considerations.
Hyping up Luka Garza. Oh no, it's still there. Unless I got blocked by that person, which I very well could be. But yeah, so you see it right here. Caitlin Clark reposting, but also Stephen Curry's trainer is reposting. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that during kind of the off season in the WNBA, because you just never know. Maybe Steph Curry or Caitlin Clark won't show up. You know what? Actually, screw it. Maybe Caitlin Clark does show up at the NBA All-Star Weekend, because everything what Caitlin Clark has done is
Curry, approaching 37 years old, faces unique circumstances regarding his footwear future. Should he transition to Nike from his current arrangement, the timeline for developing new signature models becomes challenging given his career stage. This creates interesting possibilities where existing Clark signature models under Nike could serve as transition products, with Curry wearing customized versions during competition while the Curry brand establishes its Nike presence. Nike already possesses infrastructure around Clark's footwear line, making such arrangements logistically feasible.
Because everything what Caitlin Clark has done is, oh, I want my first one to be at the WNBA. I want to do this. I want to do this to help the WNBA. I want to do this, and this to help the WNBA. If there might not be a WNBA, she might as well just show up to NBA All-Star Weekend for the 3-point contest. She might as well. It's only a month away, but like she just may as well. But it is a really interesting one to see what is going on when it comes to Steph Curry and Caitlin Clark, because this is the most obvious kind of collab ever. And it's a
The strategy could involve Curry competing in modified Clark models featuring Curry brand elements during his remaining seasons, potentially culminating in a final signature release. This approach serves multiple purposes: maintaining Curry brand visibility, leveraging Clark's existing market success, and managing development timelines aligned with Curry's career duration. Clark's endorsement contract history provides relevant context. Her collegiate-era agreement represented the highest value for women's basketball at signing, though subsequent market growth suggests the terms may not reflect her current commercial impact.
Obvious kind of collab ever. And it's a weird one where it's like, I do think that Steph Curry in general is going to be is going to be somebody that is going to get a signature shoe wherever he goes, because he's going to be bringing Curry brand with him. However, I will say this when it comes to Steph Curry, he's not going to get that signature shoe with Nike if he does sign with Nike in the next.
This pattern reflects common challenges facing athletes who secure early deals before reaching peak marketability. Historical precedent exists throughout WNBA history, with players like Tiffany Hayes illustrating dramatic earning potential shifts. Hayes, who retired in 2023 before returning to compete for Las Vegas, likely stands to earn more in 3 post-retirement seasons than throughout her entire previous career, potentially reaching 7-figure annual compensation. The trainer's promotional activity, combined with Clark's response and both athletes' demonstrated marketing awareness, suggests intentional coordination rather than coincidental social media interaction.
In the next 12 months. Like, he might be retired before he gets that real signature shoe. So it's going to have to be a carry-on of the Curry brand, and a long-term thing, which kind of is awkward when he's 37 years old. But at the end of the day, when it comes to it, you've got you've now got a player in Caitlin Clark who, you know what, maybe Nike could convince Caitlin to be like, you know what,
Clark's typical social media behavior involves purposeful basketball content rather than random posts, lending credibility to speculation about planned developments. Current market realities show Clark's signature sneakers achieving widespread adoption across NBA rosters, making Curry's choice to wear them notable but not unprecedented. The question remains whether this represents organic endorsement, friendship gesture, or preliminary stage of formal business collaboration. Multiple scenarios remain possible, ranging from simple mutual respect displays to comprehensive multi-year partnership arrangements involving co-branded products, joint appearances, and integrated marketing campaigns.
Maybe a couple of Caitlin Clark collabs with Curry brand. So, you know, Steph's gonna wear the Caitlin shoe while he plays. It's like, we're not gonna get Steph's got 2 years left in him. We're not gonna get a signature shoe out in time. But for year one, Steph's gonna play in custom Curry brand Caitlin shoes, and we're gonna sell the custom Curry brand Caitlin. And the next year, Steph's gonna, in his final year, get his one signature shoe with Nike. And we're going to go and push that. Like, something like that could be happening. And that would make sense from a Nike.
The coordination level visible in social media activity, combined with both parties' business sophistication and Nike's commercial interests, points toward substantive developments beyond casual interaction. Basketball culture increasingly recognizes Clark's influence on the sport, with her range and popularity reshaping women's basketball visibility. Curry's established legacy and continued relevance create natural alignment for partnership, particularly as both Nike and Curry brand navigate strategic positioning in competitive footwear markets. Whether developments materialize as limited collaboration or extensive partnership remains uncertain, but available evidence suggests significant planning behind recent public interactions.